Nitro-linguini promoting, noodle launch protocol, nifty llama parade, nimble leprechaun pranks, nacho-loving penguins, notorious laughing pandas, neuro-linguistic programming. Today, we're going to talk about what does NLP mean. And as an NLP trainer, I get this question all the time. A lot of people think, oh, does it mean natural language programming? That's a very popular thing these days when it comes to AI. But no, neuro-linguistic programming has been around about as long as the other kind of NLP. And it's a very special thing. My name is Michael Stevenson. I'm the founder of Transform Destiny, the world's top NLP training institute. And if we just take the words neuro-linguistic and programming and break those down, let's talk about what each word means itself. So neuro has to do with our nervous system, our mind, which we use to experience the world through our senses. Our senses are our only connection between the internal realm of reality and the external realm of reality. And so our senses, of course, are visual, auditory, kinesthetic, olfactory, or gustatory. Those are the things we see, the things we hear, the things we feel, the things we smell, the things we taste. And really, those 5 things are our only connection to the external world. The second word is linguistic. And this is the language and the other communication that we use to store experience inside of our mind and give it meaning, how we represent reality in our mind. And these include the following things which we experience in our mind, which are sights, sounds, feelings, smells, taste, and internal dialogue. Every single thought that we think, if you could think of it kind of like a little thought balloon above a person's head, every single thought that we think would be primarily made of sights, sounds, and feelings at the unconscious level. Now, the conscious mind, we take those sights, sounds, and feelings and we delete, distort, and generalize them, and we turn them into labels or words, which we call internal dialogue and sometimes external dialogue. But in this case, we're talking about the internal part, right? The internal dialogue. So the final word is programming, right? What is programming? Well, at its core, programming is discovering and using the programs, patterns, and strategies that we run inside of our mind to achieve our goals. We all run programs in our mind. We all have strategies that run in our mind. We all have patterns that we run. Now, unfortunately, for most people, most of the patterns they're running in their life are not giving them the lives that they want. And so neuro-linguistic programming is all about discovering and stopping the patterns and programs and strategies that aren't working, and then creating new programs, patterns, and strategies that work for you so that you can get what you want out of life, whether that be financial, love, health, any other area of life, right? You can have your life be exactly the way you want it to be when you combine these 3 words, neuro-linguistic and programming. Because in other words, NLP, neuro-linguistic programming, is how we use the basic language of the mind to consistently achieve the results that we want in life, right? I heard somebody say the other day, well, life can't always be good. That's not true. Your life can always be good. People go, but bad things happen. What if someone you love dies? Of course, there are things that happen in life, right? My grandfather passed away a few years ago. And I will tell you that losing my grandfather after learning NLP versus losing my grandmother before I learned NLP were radically different experiences, right? Because it's not the things that happen to us that define our lives. It's how we respond to the things that happen to us. So NLP has many definitions, and a lot of times they get very jargonistic. One of the definitions that one of the founders of NLP loves to say is that NLP is an attitude and a methodology that leaves behind it a trail of techniques. That's kind of a fancy way of saying that NLP is a field of modeling, right? In NLP, we don't make a lot of stuff up in NLP, right? Most of what we have in NLP came from researching people and finding out what they did in their mind. For example, Richard Bandler, co-founder of NLP, years ago became fascinated with the idea, how come some people overcome their own phobias and some people don't? Why is it that some people can overcome a phobia like that and other people have to go to 15 years of therapy and spend tens of thousands of dollars to release a phobia? So he actually put an ad out in the newspaper and said, if you overcame your own phobia, I want to talk to you. And he brought people into his office and he interviewed them. And what he found was that person after person after person after, I don't know why the field of psychology doesn't do this, by the way. Why do they only study disorder and disability? Why don't they look at the people who actually overcame their own phobias and then figure out what they did? And that's exactly what Richard Bandler did. Every single person that he talked to had a very similar set of patterns and programs that they used to overcome their own phobia. For example, every single person said at one point it got silly I thought, this is stupid. This is silly. Why am I doing this? So Richard Bandler wrote down silly. Make it silly in the mind, right? And then people would describe the things that would happen to their thoughts, and he would then just bring in people with phobias and go, great, let's make it silly, let's dissociate from it, let's do this. And lo and behold, he was helping people overcome phobias in 5 minutes, not 5 years, 5 minutes, right? And so there's another definition, which is that NLP is the study of subjective experience. That's one's own idea of reality. The interesting thing about NLP and even some psychology is that what we've discovered is there is no such thing as reality. We all think we know what reality is because we can see it, hear it, and feel it with our part of our neuro-linguistic programming, right? But the fact is, what you are experiencing inside your mind is not what's actually happening out here. What you experience as reality is heavily deleted, distorted, and generalized from what's actually happening out in the world. You're constantly bombarded by about 2.3 million bits per second of information. 2.3 million bits per second of information. But your conscious mind can only be aware of about 126 bits. Not 126,000, not 1,026, 126 out of 2.6 million bits. So of all the reality that you're experiencing outside of you, which a lot of times people will look around in their life and go, my life sucks. I have no opportunities. Everybody hates me. Nothing's good in my life. And really what's happening is they're only picking up the 126 bits of negativity. They're missing the 99.994% of what else is going on in their life. This is why you can have two people that go through a horrible traumatic experience. For one person, it's the worst thing that ever happens to them. It dooms their life. It makes it so they can't be successful. For another person, it becomes the defining moment in their life. It's like the churn in the railroad tracks, right? And suddenly they have purpose in their life and it becomes the best thing that ever happened to them, right? How can two people experience the same exact thing and make it two such different outcomes? Well, it's because every person has subjective experience. There's no such thing as reality. There's just your version of reality that you're living in. A third definition, it's the realization that our words do not define the world we live in. They actually determine it. One of the things I'm constantly talking to my coaching clients about when they come to me and they go, Michael, I've got a problem. And before I even try to solve the problem, the first thing I say is, can I help you with your language? And my clients, they all know when I say this, the problem is not the problem. The problem is the language they're using to describe it. I'll give you an example of this. I want you to think of a problem that you have in your life. I'll give you a second. Probably shouldn't take too long to think. Most people have problems in their life, right? Think of a problem that you have in your life. And just for a moment, I want you to close your eyes. And I want you to go back to that problem. And I want you to see what you see, hear what you hear, and feel what you feel. And I want you to notice how that problem feels to you. Okay, go ahead and open your eyes. And kind of like how an Etch-a-Sketch, how you shake an Etch-a-Sketch to clear it out. I just want you to shake your brain out. Just shake that out of your mind. And here's what I want you to do. For a moment now, I want you to think of that situation as a challenge. Think of this challenge that you have in your life. Close your eyes, go back to that time right now. See what you'll see, hear what you'll hear, feel what you'll feel, and notice how it's different as a challenge. How does it feel different? What do you notice that's different about this? And now when I do this in our live trainings, the audience will very often say back to me, wow, now I feel unstuck. I don't feel like I'm stuck anymore. I feel like there's an end. I feel like there's a goal or a finish line that I can actually get to, right? When we have a challenge, we rise to a challenge. All right, open your eyes and Etch-a-Sketch again, just shake it out of your mind. And finally, the last step, here's what I want you to do. I want you to think of that situation as an opportunity. Close your eyes, see what you'll see, hear what you'll hear, feel what you'll feel, and I want you to look at this opportunity in your life. What is this an opportunity for? Who is it an opportunity for? Now, when I do this in a live event, the audience will very often say to me, it feels expansive. It feels positive now. It feels like it doesn't just include me, but there are other people who can help me or other people who can benefit from this. It feels like growth. I feel like I'm no longer not stuck and not just unstuck, but I feel like I'm actually growing beyond this problem now. Now, here's the question I always ask in live events, and I always get a mixed response. Did we change reality? I mean, a minute ago, you had a problem. You felt stuck. There was no solution to it. Otherwise, you would have solved it. Now, suddenly, you've got this opportunity to grow, an opportunity to win, an opportunity to succeed, maybe an opportunity to connect with other people. Did we change reality? And the fact is, there's no such thing as reality. There's only the reality you're living in. So the answer is we changed reality for you. One of the ways that we did that is we reframed your language. Now, interestingly enough, we couldn't just go from problem to opportunity, right? When those are the people who walk up to you and like, oh, cheer up, this is going to be the best thing that ever happened to you. And you just want to smack those people, right? Because you're in a bad mood. What we did was something called chaining. This is another technique from NLP where I took you from problem to challenge. It's hard to go from problem to opportunity, but it's easy to go from problem to challenge. And then it's easy to go from challenge to opportunity. Another definition of NLP that I love, it's the study of excellence. Everything that was ever modeled in NLP, like for example, overcoming a phobia, was modeled from people who were excellent at doing what they do. They were excellent at running their mind. Another definition is it's the process of how we use language to communicate with ourselves and others. NLP is not just about the internal language of the mind. It's also about how we communicate with other people effectively, how to influence or persuade people with integrity. And how to get more of what you want out of life, including how you interact with other people. And then finally, my last one, this is my favorite definition of NLP of all, which is that NLP is the lost user manual of the mind. You have the most amazing supercomputer, if we could call it that as a metaphor, inside of you. Your mind that you can be aware of, which is what we call your conscious mind, it's the part of your mind you're conscious of, is only 6/1000th of 1% of your mind, right? The other 99.994% of your mind is below consciousness. It's extremely powerful. It is extremely useful. Most of the time it's trying to get your attention, which is where a lot of our problems and self-sabotage seem to come from. It's really not your unconscious mind sabotaging you, it's just trying to get your attention. And ultimately, imagine if somebody shipped you the most powerful supercomputer in the world, and you get it out of the box and you plug it in and you realize there's no instruction manual. You don't know how to turn it on. You don't know how to interface with it. You don't know how to program it. How useful would that supercomputer be if you didn't have the instruction manual for it? Right? And that's the thing, is that we come into this earth. You are absolutely stunningly magnificent. You. As Les Brown once said to me years ago, and it brought tears to my eyes, he poked me in the chest and he said, there is greatness within you. And the greatness within you is your subconscious mind. But you were never given a user manual for it. That's what NLP is. If that's something you're interested in learning, it's something we are really, really passionate about at Transform Destiny. We are the world's top neuro-linguistic programming training institute. We also train hypnotherapy and coaching. We also have tons of personal development courses that will teach you how to run your own mind if you don't want to work with other people professionally. Head on over to our website. It's www.transformdestiny.com. Right there on the front page, join our list and I'll give you a ton of free gifts just for joining the list, including a free training that will teach you some NLP, and you'll be able to learn about your own mind and how to use your own mind. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Keep your eye out for the next one.